Hi student, today we are going to start the new topic number 6 of paper 1. In paper 1, the topic number 6, refraction of light. Today we will study the information about the refraction of light. In a previous class, we learned about reflection of light. We know that light travels in a straight line. In a 7th or 8th standard, also in the 9th class, we learned that light travels in a straight line. Means light is a necessary and which transfer in a straight line direction. So in this topic we have to study the refraction of light. Now we know that when light travels in a straight line, if any opaque object comes in a light, then we get the shadow of the object. We get the shadow of object when there is an opaque of an object falls on the light, we get the shadow. We know that there is an infinite number of light rays or light rays are obtained from the sun. Sun is an unending source of light. So in the environment, light is important part. So we have to study the different properties of light. So in this topic, refraction of light. In this topic, we have to learn how the light is refracted, how the light is transferred or changes its direction from one transparent medium to another transparent medium. We know that light is a transfer from one medium to another medium. Glass is a transparent medium in which easily light transfer from the glass. So first discuss about refraction of light. Definition of refraction of light. Light changing its direction. Changing of a direction of light from one transparent medium to another transparent medium is called as a refraction of light. Or simply we have to given the definition of a refraction of light as light changes the direction of one transparent medium to another transparent medium is called as a refraction of light. Means light can change the direction when it transfer from one transparent medium to another transparent medium. If we have to falls the light rays on the glass, then the light rays are also transferred from the glass in a different ways. So refraction of light means the light changes its direction from one transparent medium to another transparent medium is called as a refraction of light. We know that in a refraction of light, incident ray and refracted rays are also important. Look at this. The sunlight, from the sun we get the light. From the sun, the rays comes from the sun to the earth. So these rays are said to be incident ray. Incident ray means the rays which comes from the object and falls on the different object. Means the rays which comes from the sun falls on the earth. These rays are said to be incident ray. And when they refracted from the earth's surface, then it is said to be a refracted ray. Look at this. When we have to take the mirror in front of sun, the rays falls on the mirror. The rays falls on the mirror and get reflected from the mirror to its opposite side. So these are said to be refracted ray. So when any light rays transfer from one medium to another medium, it can change its direction. So refraction of light. In a refraction of light, the light rays transfer from air to glass and glass to air. When the incident ray transfer or when the incident ray enters into the glass from the air, so they are said to be incident ray. Ray AB is an incident ray. Ray AB enters into the glass. It is a glass chip, glass slab. When the incident ray enters into the glass, then it changes its direction and get reflected from the glass. So it is an incident ray and reflected from the glass. So in these rays are said to be refracted ray. Incident ray and refracted ray are always opposite to each other. It is very important. Incidence ray, angle of incidence, or incidence ray denoted by angle, denoted by I, and refracted ray denoted by R. So angle of incidence is equal to angle of refraction, and angle of incidence and angle of refraction are always opposite to each other. From this diagram we discuss or we explain that when incident ray enters into the glass, then refracted ray transfer through the glass. So in a refraction of light changes from one transparent medium to another transparent medium is called as a refraction of a light. The first refraction of light of a refraction is a incidence. When the light rays transfer from air to the glass, then it is an incidence ray. And when these rays transfer from glass to the air, then it is a refracted ray. So incidence angle denoted by angle I and refracted angle denoted by R. So next point we have to discuss about, that is the laws of refraction. We know that the refraction of light means light changes from one transparent medium to another transparent medium is called as the refraction of light. Angle I means incidence ray and refracted ray means R. Incidence angle denoted by letter I and refracted angle denoted by letter R. So incidence angle and reflected angle are opposite to each other. Or we have to see in this diagram, incident ray and refracted ray are opposite to each other. Angle I and angle R opposite to each other. They meet at a normal. Normal means the point at which the incidence ray and reflected ray are meet at a point. This point is called as a normal. So we have to discuss about the next point, that is laws of refraction. Look at this, laws of refraction. Laws of refraction. First law, the first laws of refraction, angle of incidence and angle of refracted are opposite to each other and they meet at a normal. Look at this, the angle of incidence and angle of refraction are opposite to each other and they meet at a normal. They meet at a normal. All of three, angle of incidence, angle of refracted and normal, are lie in the same plane. The first law, look at this. The first law is as angle of incidence and angle of refracted are opposite to each other and they meet at a normal. All of three means angle of incidence, angle of refracted and normal. All of three lie in the same plane. Number second, for any given media the ratio of sin I upon sin R equal to constant. This constant is known as this constant denoted by letter N, which is known as a refractive index. So number third, the ratio of sin I upon sin R equal to n, where n is called as a refractive index, where n is called as a refractive index. Number second law, for any given media, the sin I upon sin R, which is a constant, this constant is denoted by letter n, where n is called as a refractive index. So these are the two laws of a refraction. The first law is as the angle of incidence and angle of refraction are opposite to each other and they meet at a normal, and all of three, angle of incidence, or simply we know that angle of incidence or incidence ray, reflected ray and normal are lie in the same plane. And number second rule, sin I, the ratio of sin I upon sin R equal to constant, which is denoted by letter n, where n is called as a refractive index. So these are the two laws which is very important. So these laws are explained. These laws are very important because on laws of refraction we have to solve the examples related to refractive index. Refractive index means the ratio of angle of incidence and angle of refraction, which is a constant. This constant is known as a refractive index. Refractive index depends on the velocity of light. Refractive index depends on the velocity of light. For a different object, for a different substance, refractive index also different. Refractive index is the ratio of sin I upon sin R, angle of incidence upon angle of refraction, which is a constant. This constant number is called as a refractive index. Look at this. In our books, we have to given as refractive index. Refractive index depends on the velocity of light in the medium. Look at this. Sin I upon sin R equal to constant. This constant is called as a n, where n is called a refractive index of second medium with respect to of first, and it is also known as a Snell's law, which is known as a Snell's law. Look at this. So laws of refraction, incident ray and refracted ray are opposite to each other. Incident ray and refracted ray are opposite to each other. They meet at a normal. All of three, incident ray, reflected ray and normal, are lie in the same plane. And second, for any media, sin I upon sin R equal to constant. This constant is known as a n, which is known as a refractive index. Look at this. We have to given the table on page number 75. Different substances having different refractive index. First, air. A refractive index of air is 1.0003. Angle of incidence and angle of refraction, which is a constant. So, a refractive index of air is 1.0003. Ice 1.31. Water 1.33. Alcohol 1.36. Kerosene 1.39. Then fusel quartz 1.46. Turpentine oil 1.47, benzene 1.50. The refractive index also increases. The lowest or the minimum refractive index, which have air have a lowest refractive index, that is a 1.003, and highest refractive index of a diamond. The refractive index of a diamond is 2.42. So in this period, we have to learn that, or we have to discuss about the refraction of light, laws of refraction and refractive index. Look at this. First, we have to know that the definition of refraction of light. Refraction of light means the light changes its direction from one transparent medium to another transparent medium is called refraction of a light. Then light travels in a straight line. We know that the sun, which is the unending source of light, we get the sunlight from the sun. The rays comes from the sun, which is the incident ray, falls on the earth and reflected to its opposite side. So angle of incidence and angle of refracted are opposite to each other, and they are meet at a point. This point is known as a normal. So in a laws of refraction we explain that the first law, angle of incidence and angle of refraction are opposite to each other and they are meet at a normal. All of three means angle of incidence, angle of refraction and normal are lie in the same plane. Number 2, for any given media, the ratio of sin I upon sin R equal to constant. This constant is known as a n, where n is called as a refractive index. For different substances, refractive index is a different. Air has a refractive index 1.003 and diamond has a refractive index 2.47. So refractive index depends on the velocity of light. So in next period we have to discuss about the next point, which is related to a refractive index.